All right, thank you. So, as I said at the beginning, we would like to invite everyone to submit questions on the cards that we have provided. So while you're taking a few minutes to do that, I'd like to invite Fran Wendelboe to come up and talk a little bit about the 603 Alliance and some thanks to Granite Grok and Camp Constitution as well.
Thank you, Jim.
I want to send my son a picture of us.
I'm going to start with a little bit of housekeeping.
Let me just go there.
If you did not take the time when you
just ask what's
arrived
going on.
to sign in at the check-in desk, please do so. There are also a form for you to ask to be added to our email list so we can tell you about good events like this that we hold in the future. And it asks about Initiative 20, which is our effort to recruit and train more conservative, liberty-loving, conservative candidates in 2020. I also would like to take this time to thank a few people. First of all, to thank our wonderful speakers for appearing here tonight and enlightening us. We'd also like to thank Camp Constitution, who were so nice as to provide Lord Monkton's availability to us tonight. Also, you may have noticed the folks from Granite Grok. We want to thank them for being here and filming. It will be on their website. We all know the Grok. And I'd like to thank the St. Anselm's Institute of Politics for allowing us to meet here. You know, some people think we're kind of riffraff, and so it's nice to be welcomed at a great institution. So some of you, I hope most of you, have heard of 603 Alliance and are aware of some of the things we've done. We are winding up to our 5th year in existence. There were a group of people who got together before the last presidential election, and we were very concerned with 16 Republican candidates, a lot of them good conservatives, that a moderate was going to come right up the middle and we'd be stuck with a middle-of-the-road moderate instead of a strong conservative. We actually held a caucus, an Iowa-style caucus, attended by hundreds of people, who voted. And we pledged that we would endorse and get behind the candidate who won that caucus. That winner happened to be Senator Ted Cruz. And we did pretty well, considering out of 16 candidates, he was the last man standing to President Trump. I've been very pleased with President Trump. I still love Ted Cruz, and he's there fighting for us conservatives every day. So, where do we go from here? In 2016, we got involved in recruiting and training candidates for the New Hampshire House of Representatives. We trained over 80 candidates. We had a much higher percentage of victories, both in the primary and in the general election, than people who did not attend our school or people who were trained by the New Hampshire GOP. The GOP was a little disorganized back then, and people really didn't know where to turn, and many of them turned to the 603 Alliance, and we were glad to be there. Hopefully the GOP is back on its feet and headed in the right direction, but we are going to still be there in 2020, and we are going to help good candidates get trained and elected. So that's what we are now calling Initiative 20. I urge you to talk to your friends and neighbors about running for office. I think there's so many of them that are so disenfranchised and upset that they may just need a little urging to get involved and run for office. I served 14 years in the House, made that princely $100 a year salary, but I have to tell you, it's the most rewarding thing. You learn so much about everything. And while our Republican representatives have been very frustrated in the minority, we must turn this around in 2020. The abyss we are upon. And if we don't do something, I don't think any of us will recognize the country that will be left after the 2020 elections if the Democrats continue their majorities and take the White House. So, that having been said, you were supposed to be writing down your questions and handing them in. Jim, how are we doing on that? Are we ready?
If you have a card, raise your hand.
I'll send them in when you're ready.
So Fran, one more thing, could you just, I know we have a lot of elected officials here. You mentioned
Oh, thank you,
people who
Jim.
run for office, and I'd just like to acknowledge those.
For our speakers especially, I would love for them to see how many of you are either currently in the New Hampshire House, in the New Hampshire Senate, candidate for office, a mayor. We have the mayor of Franklin here. So could we just have you stand up, all of you who are present or past elected officials in the state of New Hampshire. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank all of you for being here tonight. At least it's a little air conditioned in here, and better than staying at home in the heat if you don't have air conditioning. Bad people that we are using air conditioning. So 603 Alliance will be there to help people. We do have our brochure that was on every seat. Please take one. Gives a little bit more information about us. Tells how to contact us. We're always looking for input. We're always looking for volunteers. And we're always looking for, if you have a few extra dollars to help us with our mission. We were extremely fortunate a couple of years ago that Steve Bannon, before his fall from grace, came to New Hampshire and did a fundraising event for us that was very successful and provided the funds for us to operate completely with that 2016 election, and all the training that we did was totally free of charge to the candidates, and there were over 80 of them. So financial contributions always help. Thank you. Jim?
Croc TV.